Good morning, and we're in chapter 38, and we're still talking about Balil, and his compatriots that are helping build the temple. So when it says he made, that's who they're talking about, and his cohort of workers. He made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. So we finished the tabernacle itself and the inside. Now we're doing this courtyard that's on the outside, and all of it was still part of what the tabernacle was. And this is where they're going to do their burnt offerings, and people would bring their lambs or their offerings, and they would be sacrificed there, and the blood caught by the priests. Each person would have to, it's interesting, I didn't know this, I thought the priest did everything, but each person, at least the atonement sacrifice, would have to kill their own sacrifice, therefore making it very personal. There's a lot more on this. I've mentioned a few sites in the past, and I just think it's interesting to look at, and you get more understanding of what the symbolism and how it points to Christ. So let's look at this. So he made the altar of burnt offering. One thing I noticed in this is I don't see any gold on the outside. The gold was all on the inside of the tabernacle. Here they use brass or bronze. We'll look at that. 5 cubits was the length thereof, 5 cubits the breadth thereof, and it was 4 square, and 3 cubits the height thereof. And he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were the same, and he overlaid it with brass or bronze. And he made all the vessels of the altar, pots and shovels and basins, and the flesh hooks and the fire pans, all the vessels thereof made he of brass. And he made the altar of a brazen grate of network under the compass or round about it, thereof beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the ends of the grate of brass to be places for staves. So again, everything's portable. And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with brass. And he put the staves into the rings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of brass. The laver is like where they wash their hands and things, and wash to go into the tabernacle. And the foot of it brass, and the looking glasses or mirrors of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he made a court on the south side, southward. The hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, 100 cubits. Now remember, they had the same thing in the tabernacle where they said, how does it face? Now remember, they're traveling in the wilderness, and you don't really think about it too much, but what they do is they always put the temple or the tabernacle facing east, where you come in from the east. And we do that with temples today, where they face east to remind us that the Savior is coming back. So I just thought that was interesting that it goes all the way back to this. And their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets were 20. That's the little hooks and things that they used to hook the curtains up with, I believe, and connect them. And the hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits, and the pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20, and the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, and their pillars 10, and the sockets 10, and the hooks and pillars of the fillets of silver were fillets of silver. And the east side was 50 cubits. It's a good thing that it's 50 cubits, because the west side was 50 cubits, and if it wasn't, then it would be wonky. It wouldn't be symmetrical. And the hangings of one side of the gate were 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And the other side of the court gate on this hand and that hand were hangings of 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen. They were making things that were fine. They weren't making, whatever you have, just throw it in there. They're making it the best that they could. And the sockets for the pillars were of brass, the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters, which is capitals or headwork. So the top of the pillars were of silver, and the pillars of the court were fillet of silver. And the hanging of the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. 20 cubits was the length, and the length and the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court, basically adjacent to when it says it answerable. And the pillars were 4, and their sockets and brass 4, the hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters, and their fillets of silver, and the pins, all the pins of the tabernacle of the court round about were of brass. Now in this part we have on the right hand side again something we've read about Aaron and the Levites, how Aaron and his priests were the ones that officiated as the high priest in the temple itself, while the others were doing other stuff, priestly stuff. This is the sum, or all of what was made, of the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of the testimony, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for service of the Levites by the hand of Ishmael, son of the priest, son to Aaron the priest. And Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all the Lord commanded Moses. So he's very, very faithful in what he's doing. And with him was Elohib, son of Ishmash, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and cunning workman, an embroiderer in blue and in purple and in scarlet and in fine linen. All the gold that was occupied for the work, used for the work, in all the work in the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. Basically, a lot of money. And the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents, and 1,703 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. A bekah for every man that is a half a shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for every one that went to be numbered, who was numbered in the census, for 20 years old and upward, for 600,000 and 3,550 men. So that's everybody in the men in the camp of Israel being counted there. And that's why we're saying it's well over a million people, because if there's over 600,000, 603,000, 603,550 men. If there's that, then you've got women and you've got children, well over 1 million people easily. And of the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the sockets of the veil, and 100 sockets of the talents, a talent for a socket. So explaining how they used some of the funds to make this, and how the silver and the gold was used. And 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the pillars, and overlaid their chapiters and filled them. And the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and brazen altar, and brazen grate for it, and all the vessel of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. So there we have basically everything for the tabernacle. And again, like I said, there's some really good podcasts, including the one that is in the Come Follow Me manual, that shows these things being made and how and what they're for and everything. I think it's really important that we do look at these and we see how they point to Christ or point to God. And I hope that whatever you do this day, think of things in your life that point to God, and also think of being able to go to the temple and see how it points to God as well. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.